Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's meetup. A very interesting year for our community is coming to an end. This past summer, for the first time, we had a speaker join us from abroad, and actually from Laravel itself. We managed to keep a really good rhythm with our events, and honestly, I hope to continue. We hope to continue just to be as strong as we were for a long time to come. Tonight's talk is a joint session with my friend and co-organizer Harris, and we hope you will join it. Okay. Before we dive in, we'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors for supporting tonight's event. Native PHP, Epignosis, and the usual Laravel TypeSense and the cooperation with certification of Laravel. The new kid in town is Epignosis. We are really happy to welcome Epignosis to the community, and I'd like to invite Angelos Bellos to come up and say a few words about our sponsors. Sorry.
So it's time to make my bad jokes here. You almost didn't know that I do these jokes, so...
I'm ready for him. Χάρη, δεν βρίσκω το...
So I'm doing the start.
Το παράθυρο.
I'm Angelos.
Okay.
So I'm working at the architecture team at Talent LMS. You ready?
Yeah.
Perfect.
With our keys.
Okay. So thank you, Yolo, for the introduction. So as I said before, I'm Angelos. I'm working at the architecture team at Talent LMS. So the company is Epignosis, right? It has many different products. It has a Talent LMS, Front, Talent Cards, and recently Talent Data. So we mostly talk about Talent LMS. It's our most popular one. So what it is, basically an LMS, right? Learning Management System. For anyone that recently got out of college, it's like the A-class system that you have, but we mostly sell it to businesses. So these are some of our companies. This is, I think, 2024. I didn't got the last one. Now we have also OpenAI. So we are pretty standard solution in the enterprises. And these are some of our key features, right? So we have a lot of domains that we expand. This is a really big scope that it's difficult to manage. So I have some time later on to discuss how we try to manage all of these. But I will let the numbers speak for themselves. So I skipped all the boring stuff. You don't have to thank me, but you can if you want. So, first question. Any idea? How many requests do we handle? You can raise your hand if you want. Any random? Yeah? 1 million, okay. Next one?
In 5 hours, 1 billion.
Next year. Anyone else? Something in between?
Yeah.
20? Okay, we can. It's actually 85 million requests. And if we change our front end, if we introduce a bug, we can double it in a day. So next question. We actually have an auto-scaling group for our new REST API. So any question, any answer? How many do we reach at peaks?
100. 200. 500.
Next year. So this is a smaller number. but it's like 40, and around weekends we go down to 4. So it's a big range. And then how many client databases? One thing that I forgot is that we are a SaaS product, Talent LMS, and it's a multi-tenancy one. So each customer has its own databases, but they share the same code. So any idea how many databases do we have right now for Talent LMS?
So how many clients?
Yeah? Kind of, but yeah.
So maybe have more than
Yeah? Any number, even
200?
200, okay, next one? 300, and? And it's all to 80,000. So we have also made a lot of presentations around it because we recently migrated for MySQL 5.7 to Aurora MySQL. So we have migrated all of these, and AWS is not built for multi-tenancy, so all their tools didn't work at our scale. So we had to build some, actually we had to use some other tools, like Percona, I don't know if you know it, to migrate all of this.
does Aurora make the difference?
In the speed?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's mostly about how we save time in managing the databases. Because we were running them in EC2 instances, so it was a real big difference for us. And it also has Aurora has also zero ETL, so you can copy databases with zero downtime.
Okay.
So it has some really nice features. I mean, everything managed, it has a really nice features and also really high prices. But it works for us. For our scale, it's perfect. So as you saw, we had a lot of customers, a lot of complexity, a lot of features. Our engineering team, we recently unified our products. Before they were mostly like different companies, but now we're trying to unify our engineering team. We kind of trying to do team topologies. I don't know if you heard it, but it's how you manage the teams, how you manage flow, and you build around it. And we are full on domain-driven design. So we are trying to build our domains, create boundaries, and based on this, also create our service and our teams. So that was it. This is me on the summer. No, it's okay.
You were good. Okay. 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 Those four are the base ones that currently on the market, and the ones that we use it and try it. Harris actually got in AI before I did, and I was a bit skeptical at first. And in a conversation we had, he said the following. I found it really on point because things are moving incredibly fast with a new leap forward almost every week. So, this is the only graph I found regarding this topic. This is a chart that shows downloads per tool. It's a good indicator of just how far ahead Cloud is. Actually, this is 4 months behind, so this is a huge time for AI. This is Claude, in case you haven't seen it, I doubt. Is anybody that doesn't know anything about Claude? Great. This is the interface. The first question that came in my mind was why this is a CLI tool and not an IDE or something like that. This is the answer that Boris, the creator of the tool, gave to explain the why behind it. The reason was that he didn't want to use a specific tool, so CLI was flexible enough for this case. Now, why Claude? I need to stop clicking stuff. It works in your terminal. This is one of the main ones, not another IDE to swap things around. It takes action. Claude can directly edit files, run commands and stuff like that. It has a Unix philosophy built in. In case you didn't know, you can do things like tail and pipe things and commands and chain things. And it's enterprise ready, so this is a very interesting topic. Security-wise, privacy, compliance, all things are built in. About Laravel developers, in general, there is good training around the framework. It has a knowledge about conventions of Laravel, migrations, running commands, building the general MVC structure of the framework. It can, clicking stuff. It has a full code base awareness, so it can understand the code base and write code according the style of the project. We can talk about it a bit later in more detail. It has a testing workflow. It can understand Composer and all the dependencies of the project, and it can do easily a lot of things like adding a new API resource, validations and stuff like that that are boilerplate in a typical Laravel application. Now some best practices. The first one, be always polite. This QR code is actually, it's working if you want to see. It's a post that says why it's working to be polite, especially in Claude. That is a bit interesting. So I leave it. Yeah, actually, in Claude specifically. Okay, sorry. We will have the slides available after the talk because there are a lot of things like that. The Claude MD is a file that it can easily be created when you run the dash init in a project. It reads all the code and it gives instructions to the tool to understand the code base a bit better. It's a special file in the root. It turns, sorry. Χαρή, μπορείς να είσαι λιγάκι. Δεν πάει με τόσο να μεγαλώσει καθόλου. Είναι ψήρες τελείως.
Να μεγαλώσει.
Κατάλαβες είναι το θέμα.
Μόνο το κάνουμε χωρίς αυτά. Έχεις άλλα.
Όχι, όχι.
Άρα μπορείς να κάνουμε έτσι. Just give us 1 sec, sorry about that. Let's do customize project review. This will be good.
Α, τι είναι, αλλά από εδώ τώρα δεν φαίνεται τίποτα.
Τα δεξιά θα βάλω για να μιλάς. Σε βοηθάει.
Οκ.
Ποιος κάνει να βάλω μετά. Όχι, ορίστε.
Αλλά είναι το ίδιο εδώ.
Έλα από εδώ να είναι, όχι. Ναι, καλύτερα έτσι. Και γίνει αυτό.
Όπα. Οκ. Okay, better. CloudMD is a special file that automatically pulls context. The main problem was my presbyopia, as you can see. So, this makes it an ideal place for documenting common bash commands, code style guidelines, testing instructions, any unexpected behaviors or warnings particular to the project. This is mainly business decisions. Other information you want Claude to remember. So it's a place, the CloudMD, that you can write instructions to AI to follow, not always, but it's a good place to put them. Git is very helpful in many cases. It can search the history and understand things about changes, who did what and when, and can help you debug things very fast. It can write commit messages because it can understand the difference of the code and the changes that it made. Regarding prompts, truth is that it is a huge topic by itself, but some examples are here how you can have better prompts and help AI give you better answers. You can see the examples. I'll leave you to, can you read it? Okay. So it's helpful to give as much information as you can about the thing you want to do, and not very generic things. The answers are way better. This is an example of a prompt that it's ideal according to Claude. Claude in general has very good documentation and very good tips about almost everything. This is from a talk they gave a few months ago. So they say that the ideal way is to give 1-2 sentences to establish the role of the tool. So in this example, the AI is a travel agent. You then give the content in case you want to drag and drop files to it or something like that. You need to give the input. You then say the task instructions of that need to be done. Examples of the output is very important. And you really need to say the base thing you want to do again at the end, in case the prompt is very big. He loses it. I think that this is not too obvious, but really it helps a lot. If you drag and drop images to Claude, very interesting stuff happen. It can read images, it can understand what it reads, it can understand bugs, especially UI bugs and things that happen in the console log and stuff like that. It's very helpful, especially, I say again, in the UI world, if HTML, CSS and stuff like that is on the... This is a very dangerous command that I personally I don't use, but if you want, you can. It gives permission to Claude to do whatever. So, okay.
Brave move.
Common workflows. Actually, there are many workflows, 4, I think, in the Claude documentation. This is the most common workflow and the workflow I personally use, I think you too, Harris. The general idea behind this is that you make a plan first, you do a research first, you do a plan that gives as much information about the problem and the steps that need to be done very carefully. If you want to do better job, you can you can use the think hard, think harder, και ultra think way of writing to tell Claude to think harder and make better plans. The implementation is the logical next step, and after that you can also make a pull request and git push. MCP servers is another huge topic. It's a very interesting one, but we need to be careful because more capabilities means more context in terms of Claude. So this is a dash context from my machine. I just opened Claude, nothing I did. And as you can see, MCP tools give 17,000 tokens only by opening Claude. Okay. MCP, in case you don't know, is a way for AI to understand how to communicate with third-party services. So in many cases, it's basically a wrapper around APIs, and sure, it solves a huge problem and helps a lot, but it has this kind of cost. The memory files that is underneath 4.6K is the CloudMD file with the instructions we said earlier. So this is also a file that we need to reiterate and check what we say in there, because it gives tokens that are always eating from the, I think, the limit, yes. It has a certain limit. The auto-compact buffer that is in the end, it was a really interesting one. It's the hidden cost. It's basically, it does hold this kind of space to auto-compact the buffer. So when it goes near the end, it makes auto-compact of all the tokens, all the discussion that there was before. And in order to do it, basically, it keeps around 22% of all context. Skills is a very new feature of Claude. 1 month, 2 months, something like that. Is a reusable file system-based resources that provide Claude domain-specific expertise. It's different than prompts, and it eliminates the need to repeatedly provide the same guidance across multiple conversations. The problem with MCP, and for some skills is a way to solve it, is that you ask for information real time. So you don't load the tool while opening the Claude, and you take all the context without any reason. So skills can be used by adding an @ symbol in the skill, and you can make things like custom wrapper against an API. So it is way less tokens to use it like that. Of course, MCP still is a better solution for these cases, but the problem is tokens.
Skills will talk to us another session.
Yeah. Yeah. Claude may sometimes naturally try to wrap up work as it approaches the context limit. I have a friend that he told me, I think that sometimes Claude is getting bored and he doesn't do what I'm saying exactly. He does 20% of what I asked. The reason mainly is this one. He tries to wrap up a work as it approaches the context limit. And this prompt example is an example that the documentation of Claude gives. And it promises that if you put it in your prompt, it will help to manage this a lot of better. Something similar is this, encourage complete usage of context. If a task is very long, you can use this kind of prompt to encourage AI to complete the task and not drop it at the last minute. This is again a tip from the documentation that I found it very interesting. You can allow it to say, I don't know, because if you don't, especially in the first era of AI, I asked it, who is Kolokotronis? He told me he's a very famous football player with great confidence. So back then, right now it's not working the same way, but really this helps a lot. So for many users, Claude doesn't do a very good work in the front-end side. Again, the docs has this prompt that you can copy-paste it and gives way better results than before. I will give the slide so you can take everything you need from here. Very fresh, we talk about skills a bit, a few slides before. There is a design skill that helps very much. Actually, we have a project that we will show you with Harris in a minute, and you will see the design of Claude and how it helped with that. This is the way to install a skill, by the way. So you write the two last commands, dash plugin and blast plugin install, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. You just say use skill design, and that's it. Of course, there are the weird stuff in the documentation that is a bit troubling. Especially Opus 4.5 has the tendency to over-engineer a lot of things, adding unnecessary abstractions or building flexibility that wasn't requested. So again, Claude proposes those kind of prompts if you want to keep it short and to the point. At least my part, that was the first part, is here. The Laravel boost is a topic that will be handled by Harris for the next.
Perfect. Hi everyone.
Thanks for coming today again. If you don't know me, my name is Haris Raftopoulos. I'm currently staff writer and also content creator for Laravel News, and I also work on various Laravel projects as well since version 4. So we are going to wrap how this whole AI thing is actually linked to Laravel. And the first thing that we're going to look at is Laravel Boost, which is provided, this is a first level package that's provided by the actual team of Laravel. So you can find it in GitHub. It's open source, of course. You can contribute to that if you want to. So what does Laravel Boost do? It's the way to connect your Laravel code and make it Laravel specific and basically project specific to Cloud, and then let it know about all your functions you have, because you might have a domain-driven design or whatever. So Laravel Boost is the link between Cloud and your code and your project specifically. So we can have different kinds of things like MCP, which is MCP, like George already mentioned. It's a specialized tools that we could have in order to communicate with external services. We could have something like AI guidelines. So Laravel Boost provides us with all the documentation, every bit of it, with whatever has to do with Laravel, inertia, Vue.js, I think Tailwind CSS as well. So it doesn't have to go and search for that in the internet. And most of the times, if you give it access to go and search for the internet, it might not actually find what you're looking at. But using Laravel Boost, make sure that you have the latest guidelines and your latest API docs in your code. And that helps a lot with the context window as well, because the context window, in that sense, it's far smaller because it doesn't have to go and scrape pages. So I really suggest that you go ahead and install that if you're using AI in any way with Laravel. The way to install this is pretty easy. You just require Laravel Boost. You obviously need to install that in your dev environment and non-production. And if you have an already existing project, the way to install it and activate it is by run php artisan boost install. And that will ask you some questions. We're going to actually go and see a demo. So let's stop that. Let me open the terminal. If I can move it here, perfect. Let's make this a bit larger. More, okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a totally new Laravel project. So Laravel new, I'm going to name this one wheel, and you're going to know why I named this wheel in a bit. Yes. What? Laravel heard asks me to update this. I guess I won't do it for now. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna choose none of the starter kits. Let's use pest. So the Laravel install package, it does ask you to install Laravel Boost out of the box. So I'm gonna click yes, and you can see it's getting installed right away, along with the rest of the Laravel code. Let's use MySQL. Default database updated. Would like to run the default database. My guess was yes, and I think that something failed, but we're gonna check on that in a bit. It's fine. So once this is done, you'll see at the bottom it does install okay. So here we have Laravel Boost. This is what actually happens when you type the PHP artisan boost install. It does give you these prompts. So it first asks you if you would like to install the Herd MCP if you're using Laravel Herd. That's very useful because it can call Laravel Herd internally, so you don't really need to do it all by hand. So let's click yes now. Again, it's the error. Access, okay, that's fine. We don't care about the database now. When we install everything, we run npm build. And this is ready. And now we have Laravel Boost installed, and we can really check on that if we go to our project called Wheel, for example, and we're gonna use, just give me one moment, I need this here, perfect. So now that we have Laravel Boost installed, we can do various stuff. The first thing we can do is if we open that in code and make this a bit larger. Okay, let's close that. Now, so we have the default Laravel installation. The project is called Wheel. Let me zoom in. Let me close this stuff that we don't really need. And what do we need in this case? Let's try to run again the command that we needed in the first place. So PHP boost install. I'm gonna again run PHP boost install so we can see exactly what happened because before it was behind this. I think I need. I thought I installed already. Okay, let's try that. Let's open this. SQLite. Let's try again. PHP? Yeah, for sure.
We should run this with Claude.
Yes, that's a good idea actually. Let's do that. Okay, migrated. We have another example that has to do with Claude, so we're gonna use that. Okay, it's migrated now. Let's again use boost install. Yeah, that's what I want to show you. So it does ask you which code editors do you use and work with Laravel. In our case, the only one we're gonna use now is Claude Code, but if you have something like Codex, Cursor, Gemini, OpenCode, PHP Storm, and I think they support some more, you can just go ahead, and even you can install everything if you'd like to. So I'm just gonna use Claude Code in this one, and then it asks you which agent needs AI guidelines. Again, you can define your agents here, Claude Code in my case. All this, as you saw up here, is actually the documentation it's gonna add. So it's gonna use Laravel version 12 specifically, the PEST for testing, PEST v4, PHP documentation, Tailwind, Pine, and whatever else you're using. If you're using something like Vue.js or Inertia or whatever you have in the JavaScript world, it will actually be included in the documentation as well. And down here you can see we see Claude Code and then the check mark, which means that it was installed successfully. Then we installed the MCP servers. So Claude Code, we installed the Boost MCP server and the Herd MCP server. And then if you want more that has to do with the documentation, you can visit boost.laravel.com/install, and then you can see, I think they have a dashboard that you can see more of a high-level overview of what you have already installed here. So what we're gonna do now is let's go and boot up Claude. And okay, so Claude is up and running now. As you can see, on the top left corner, we're using Opus 4.5 model. And the way, like George already mentioned, the way to work on that is, first is it's always a good idea to create a plan. So you plan what you would like to implement. Otherwise, you're gonna end up in weird situations that Claude might give you implementations that was not what you were thinking about. But if you have the plan at the beginning, then I think everything else will work just fine. So in that regard, we have, where is it? I think it's somewhere here. We have already a project that we would like to show you. We have the plan already generated. So I'm just gonna go and talk about it very briefly. Let's go here. So we would like to build a project that the main idea is that it's gonna be an event giveaway wheel for our Laravel meetup. Yes,
Can I take a step back? Sorry for this.
of course, yes, go.
So why do I have to choose the editor and the AI? That the guidelines are specific for
Yes,
AI?
exactly. Because now that we chose specifically code, for example, if I go and I find my project, eh, just a sec, here.
And the follow-up, does it support multiple AI agents?
Yeah, of course, you can choose everyone.
Okay.
You can choose them all if you want. So the idea is that because I chose Claude Code, it generated the Claude.md file by default. So if, for example, you had an already existing project and not a new one, and you had, for example, like many thousands or millions of code, of lines of code, Claude will go in each one of your files and it will identify which kind of patterns you use for Laravel, how's the structure, if you have any specific stakeholders, all that kind of stuff, and it will give them all in Claude.md. It will store them in here. So everything in here will be used as a memory. So everything in here will be, every time Claude gets executed, it will go through Claude.md, will make sure that everything that you instructed in here will be actually included in the output.
So this text is different.
This text is
For
different.
every-
Yeah, if you update your code, you need to update the Claude.md because it's the memory, it's Claude's memory every time. So in this case, that's the default because we had the default installation. There's nothing behind the scenes, so it just has some default Laravel guidelines and instructions in this case. Use PHP doc blocks, enums, then Laravel core, Laravel Pint should be there. Laravel version 12 specific rules. So it's the specific rules that Claude is going to use for your project. That's the idea behind it. Because you don't want to use version 11 code, right, in your version 12 project. So Claude.md is a very important file in this case. There is also, yes, but it's hidden, right? I'm going to show it in a bit. So the idea is that we would like to create this this project, which is called Event Giveaway Wheel. And if I zoom in, this is what an actual plan of Claude looks like. So we have the overview. We want a giveaway wheel application for events where attendees register with a name, email, and admins can spin a wheel to select random winners who are notified via email. We have the architecture. We define specifically that we want it to be Laravel 12, PHP 8.3. We define that it's going to be in Vue 3, Tailwind CSS, PEST v4, and more things like some endpoints if you would like to have. Your plans usually will need to be that specific. Otherwise, you might not like what's the outcome. It might work, but it's better to be safe than sorry. That's the main idea. So you can give it the database schema as well, be even more specific. If you want any env variables to use in the background, again, if you want routes, everything. And Claude will definitely help you with that. You can iterate on the plan just to make sure that your plan is the way you'd like it to be. You can even have your controllers, your requests, and you can give the specific structure and how you want them. Maybe some inner files. For example, we would like to have register.vue and a will.vue file inside pages for JavaScript. So you can define pretty much everything. I'm not going to bother you with the rest. I'm just going to copy that and feed it in Claude and leave it running in the background so we can see later on how this worked and if it worked. So
Is it AI generated?
yes, of course. It is. Claude generated this plan. So we asked Claude, we give it some prompts, we iterated, and it came up with this plan. That was the idea behind it. So it's already iterated. If you want to do it yourself, you need to iterate again and again. So I'm going to paste it. It shows like that. And if you actually paste and hit enter, you'll see that everything is in the context. And now Claude is thinking. We're going to leave this. I'm going to enable that it will not actually ask me for any edits. It will go ahead and do it by themselves. It might actually go ahead and ask you if it's something very dangerous still, because I don't have what George saw earlier, the command, and I won't do it now. So I'm gonna leave it running in the background. As you can see here, what you'd like me to help you with, implement the full application. Now, I see you shared a comprehensive implementation plan for event giveaway wheel application. This is a well-structured plan covering, and then it does say, want to implement this plan. This is what I would like to do.
Did you see that there was an auto-completed prompt for you to type?
There are many, yeah, down here, you mean, yes.
No, I mean, before typing implement this for me, this was already written. You just
Yeah.
enter. It's a new feature added. I saw this today.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing that we mentioned, that we don't really, this talk and this plan was implemented 5 days ago. Those 5 days is like 5 years. Everything goes so fast that we're not really sure what comes today. So it's gonna go ahead, as you see, and it asks me, I want to use Laravel Boost, and specifically the database schema tool, and it's gonna use Laravel Boost MCP for that. And what this is gonna do is go ahead and check and read my database schema and understand exactly how my database is structured like. That's the main idea behind it. And it asks me, obviously, if I want to allow it. I'm gonna allow everything for now. And yeah, so let's start it. As I can see, let's see if there is any to-dos. No, I don't see any to-dos. Okay, no worries. So it went ahead, and now it reads our web.csp file. Okay, there are the to-dos as well. So Cloud Code is very, very useful because it does give you many to-dos. Do you want to do what? To install Inertia. Yes, of course I want to install Inertia. That's my favorite tool. So it gives you to-do list, and it goes, and you can see exactly at which step Cloud Code is. It's going to, okay, what do we know now? Install commands, yes, go ahead and do that. That's why you need to, or don't need to run the YOLO mode.
I guess you can whitelist some tools.
You do, yeah. Now I'm whitelisting them. That's why when I click yes, it whitelists them. That's the idea. But that's a totally new project. That's why we don't have it here. So in the meantime, and since this is running, go ahead and continue with the next slide. And we'll check on that later on. Okay, yes. So our project is up and running. Now it's not up and running, but Claude is running it for us. It's writing it for us. And we're gonna go deeper into one concept which is called sub-agents. And the sub-agents concept is also fairly new. It's like a bit before skills. So like 3 months, 4 months is not very, very old. And what's the idea behind it? So sub-agents are being used by Cloud Code in order to do various things. The most important one for me is that it's like it spawns a new process. Think of it like a new process. So a sub-agent is a new process that Cloud Code spawns, and it has its own context window. So Cloud Code by itself does have 200,000 token window in the context, and each of the sub-agents on its own have 200,000 tokens on each of the windows. So you can, for example, create sub-agents for your backend, so a backend implementator, or a front-end implementator, or a database schema guy. So think of them like employees. Each sub-agent is actually an employee. That's the main idea behind it. So you can really build specialized AI assistants. And when you run, for example, the command I ran earlier in order to create this new giveaway project, Cloud Code will identify on which parts it's working on. For example, it's working on the backend. It will delegate all the tasks that are backend related to the backend agent. Same for the frontend, and same for every other of the agents you actually have. So it's pretty easy and straightforward to have agents in Cloud Code. You just run /agents, and it will prompt us to create new agent. So we're going to do exactly that. Let's go back and see. We need more to give them more. Okay. So I'm gonna go here, and let's go to yes. Let's go and create a new folder. Gonna name this new project. Let's go in there. Okay. And let's go into Cloud. Again, let's run /agents. You see that we have George has some predefined agents. That's fine. You can have agents per project, or you can have global agents. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to, if I scroll a bit up, okay, I'm going to create a new agent. That's what I really want to do in this case. And it asks me, it prompts me and asks me if I really want this to be per project or, yeah, I zoom too much, per project, or if we want this to be on a global scale. And we're going to add this to our project only. Then we can do it, we can generate it in two ways. We can do it manually, so we write all the prompts and what actually the sub-agent will do, or we can get some help from Claude, and we're going to do exactly that. So we generate that, and Claude prompts us and says, describe what this agent should do and when it should be used. So I have a prompt ready. I think it's the next one somewhere. No, okay, I don't have it here. Anyway, I'm gonna YOLO it. So I will say, help me review my Laravel code. I would like you to create a Laravel reviewer subagent. After every prompt, at the end, please review my Laravel code and show me what could be improved, and also show me any critical vulnerabilities. Show a huge warning when you find vulnerabilities. I'm going to enter that, so it's going to generate the description based on what I gave him. It's a good idea to have a more specific prompt than the one I just showed you. You can make it as specific as you want. The more specific, the better the result. That's what you should keep in mind. Let's see what's the guy doing. Okay, it's still working, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna leave it. Need to zoom out. Yes. Oh no, I don't want the title. I want this. Okay, and then it will ask me if I want to give access to the sub-agent to all tools, if it's going to be read-only or if it's going to change things as well. It's going to edit tools. When it says tools, it means MCP tools, execution tools, or other kind of tools. I'm going to just leave it by default. Then it will ask us which model we'd like to use. The most balanced model in this case is Sonnet 4.5. If you use Opus, this is mostly used for more complex tasks, but it's obviously more expensive. That's why we don't always use Opus. I'm going to keep it default to Sonnet. You could add a color, so it's more visible to the eye. I'm going to use the yellow, purple yellow thing. And this is actually what the prompt is that Claude generated for us. You're an elite Laravel security auditor and code quality expert with 10 plus years of experience in PHP and Laravel framework, of course. You have deep expertise in OWASP, security principles, Laravel best practices, and have conducted, I think it's cut over there, but I think it should be more in the text. I don't know, probably it's because of the zoom now. But Warnings, agents has access to all tools. We know that. Let's click enter. And this is our sub-agent. It's called Laravel Code Reviewer. If we want, we can go deep in there. Or if I click on that, we can go deep in there. Yes. And we can view the agent. We can edit, we can delete it. Let's view the agent. As you can see, it has more stuff that I didn't really read. So always verify, and it has specific number of things, a specific list of things that it will verify, cache implementations, UJob implementations, everything that will make our code Laravel specific and better in his sense. As you can see, it will show us the status, if it's critical vulnerability, if we have high priority issues, etc. We have the status, everything that is found, and I think you can see how big actually the sub-agent prompt is. I'm gonna leave it like that. I can share that with you later on if you would like to, but now let's use it. So I'm gonna do something similar of what we did before. So Laravel new, no, sorry, I'm not Laravel new. I'm gonna go again, need to zoom again, cd new project, and I'm going to do Laravel. No, I don't really want to do that, do I? Okay, let's go up. Laravel new project final. It's gonna be final, as you know. I'm gonna leave it without any, again, I'm gonna install Laravel Boost, of course, because we need it. The good thing is that this is very fast, so let's light. Yes, I know now. It's gonna be done in like some seconds. And when this is done, okay, it's almost done. Perfect. Yes, do that. Do cloud code, of course. Install and build. Yes, let's do that. Let's check on how our project is doing. Okay, it asks us for pint. So I think it's almost done. It's actually now using Laravel pint in order to make sure that the code structure is okay. Yeah, it's actually almost done. So we're going to check that later on. So we're now in our project. Is this the last one I have? No, right? Will understand? No. I think I'm not in there. New project, final. Yes. Okay, Claude. So we're gonna say to Claude now, we're gonna generate some code that is not actually the best code we could have. Please generate some vulnerable code for my example and only in Laravel. It could only be a controller, so we make sure that it's actually faster. So it's going ahead and create some code that you don't really want to use in production. Yes, it's going to create this for educational purposes. Let's wait and see how this goes. Yes, would like to add that. So it goes ahead and writes a new file. I think it's called vulnerable example controller. Very, very unique. And it's done. So what did it actually add now? So it created a controller with 10 common vulnerabilities for educational purposes. So we have SQL injection, we have XSS, mass assignment, command injection, we have everything you don't want to have. So now the way to use a sub-agent is we tell it that please go ahead and use Laravel Reviewer and find all the vulnerabilities our code currently has. I think it goes over the screen, but it's gonna work. So it's gonna ideally use our sub-agent now. Not yet. I don't have access to Laravel reviewer agent. That's not. Let's go to agents again. Because it was project specific. Yes. Okay. No worries. Create a Laravel reviewer agent that will make sure to catch all the vulnerabilities in our Laravel code. Yes, it's gonna make it very,
15 years.
very yeah. It's very generic.
20 years.
It could, yeah, it could. I don't know what it's gonna actually think of vulnerable code, but yesterday that I tried it out, it works fine with only the ones I gave it. So let's make sure it works. In the meantime, let's go to our project and see what's left. So it's gonna search the docs and it's gonna use Vite. So it goes into Laravel Boost again, it uses a search doc tool, and it would like to figure out how to use Vite, I guess. So let's give it access to that. Okay, Sonnet, gonna use red because it's vulnerable, right? So I think it's ready now. So again, if we now try again the same prompt, what did I do? I think I went way up. Okay, so I think it goes Command C. Okay, so use Laravel reviewer and make sure to catch all the abilities in our Laravel codes. Let's see if it will do that now. It named the agent Laravel Security Reviewer, so I'm not really optimistic it's going to use the correct one. It did. Okay, cool. So as you can see, it did actually use a Laravel Security Reviewer. It figured out that now it asks to use Laravel Boost in order to get some application info, some listing of the routes, again, database schema. So we need to give access to Claude in order to do its job. I suggest you allow it for that. Don't use it in production, of course. At least not something that you care about. So now it should go ahead and list all our vulnerabilities. Okay, it's gonna see the app debug again. What it's gonna do, it's gonna create a test and see if ENV exists. Maybe ENV doesn't exist actually because that's a new project, right? So it did figure out that already. It's a good thing. By the way, now we use Laravel. We don't use the API. You could use the API of Claude if you want, of Claude Code. We use the projects that there are some specific plans that Claude Code provides. There is we're gonna see them later on. There's the more you pay, the better it becomes. That's let's see how much time it's gonna take. As you can see here, we also see the number of tokens it uses up until now for this specific prompt. So remember the context window is 200,000, and for each of the sub-agents, we have 200,000 extra. So that's really important to remember. It takes some time. Okay, yes. You could even run, so now, 2 days ago, so 3 days after I wrote this example, Claude Code introduced asynchronous sub-agents, so you can even have them running in the background. So you can have like 10 sub-agents run at the same time, all of them in the background, so that's pretty cool. Cursor had that for like 2 months, but Claude Code caught up, so. It's gonna take some time. I guess we're gonna go back to our original project. Yes, okay, so it's gonna run with, again, switching back to the other project. I hope you're not lost yet. But okay, let's see what this does. No, yeah, okay, so it asks us to build npm. We're gonna leave it built. Again, for the sub-agent project, as you can see, it's now done. We have the security audit complete. It says that it found 10 critical high vulnerabilities, 2 medium configuration, and something that is off the screen that I can see it. And they're listed up here. You can see that our sub-agent code up, that we have SQL injection, we have XSS. It also says us, it also tells us in which specific line this issue is, line 23, line 37, inside a vulnerable example controller. That's pretty cool. So now we also have some configuration issues. Yeah, because we have app debug set to true, it says. Obviously, this is not a production database. It did find some positive findings that we do use fillable and hidden inside our models as expected. Passwords use hashcast, etc., some CSRF protection. So now you can use your sub-agent, and in every command, in every prompt you have, every change it does, it can go ahead and run that and make sure that there are no critical vulnerabilities. Obviously, it's not code rabbit. It's not the best application to use in order to make sure that your application is safe, but it's definitely a start and something that you can use locally just to make sure that you don't actually go and forget about something that you didn't. So we did also have some recommendations: delete the vulnerable files, or ensure it has no route register. We don't really care about that now. So this was actually the example I wanted to showcase with the sub-agents. So you can use this for everything. You can use this for UI, UX, front-end, back-end, everything. You just build a sub-agent, and Cloud Code will take care of that. Okay, so the moment of truth. The project is ready. I don't know if it's going to work or not. We're going to try it out for sure. So let's go back here. I'm going to close Cloud Code. Yes. Let's go in a project called Wheel. And now I'm going to run npm run dev. The project is up and running in localhost 8000 or not. Is it 8000? Okay, it's 8000. Yes. Yes. Maybe. Yes. Cool. So much better from what I expected. So we do have the conference here. You see all this nice text, which is also glowing, etc. If you see this purple thing, it's actually a Cloud Code specific. It does love this code, this color for some weird reason. So you can go ahead and write your name here. We have inputs for the email as well. We can enter the giveaway. We can see how many people actually entered here. So I think if we go to /wheel, so the wheel is not enabled, and this is on purpose because this is only an admin feature. And the way to enable that is by going in our env. Need to go here. Let's stop that. Let's go here. Open up code. And if it opened up, okay, I think it's here. Okay, perfect. So let's go to our env. Let's go and find, is there anything called wheel? Yes, wheel enabled false. Let's make this true. Let's go back, refresh, and the wheel is there as well. So now all the participants can get in, write the name, the emails. They also receive an email, as far as I remember, that's in the plan, if they win. And we go ahead and spin the wheel. We can also clear that. You can see the names here. And that's basically it. So we can see how easy it was for Cloud to build a wheel giveaway in like 10 minutes. That's how much it takes nowadays. And if it doesn't take 10 minutes, it needs some iteration. It might take 10 more minutes. I think that's not that much for building something that easily anymore. And this is why it's ideal if you don't fear the AI, but work with it. So let's now go back for the final part. This was the more demo time for the sub-agents. That's fine. It's cool. And you can see we have the basic agent and the small sub-agents. It was a nice thing that I really liked, so yeah. So pricing. We have a free tier. We don't. Cloud has a free tier. 0, you can test it out. I think it will only last you like for a couple of prompts and not huge ones. So you'll have to go to the Pro tier for sure. It's like $17. I think it's fair. If you're not an avid user and you use it like a couple of hours a day, I think it's gonna work fine for you. You can see everything down there on what this includes. You can have Cloud Code, because I think that the free tier actually does include Cloud Code. I should say that. So $17 will give you access to Cloud Code. It will execute and create new files. It can connect to Google Workspace, email, calendars, docs, everything you really dream of. And you can use all the models. Now I think you use the Opus model as well, the most expensive model. And then from there on, we jump to 100. And I think there's also a 200 model as well. So at some point, I guarantee you're going to go to 100 from 17 fairly soon. So you're going to get much more context window. I think this is going to last you, I think the $100 is fine. The 200 is like if you write all day with 20 sub-agents in each prompt. So you're not going to need it probably. Some more features, some priority access to high traffic times, because there are some times that it has too much traffic in Cloud Code and you might get to 500 because everybody is using it. So by using the max plan, you are not gonna come into those issues. So there is an API tier as well. You can use the API and you pay as you go. The price is per million of tokens. Remember that the context window, the basic context window is 200,000. So, for example, these are some basic tests I did to generate an actual controller, not 1,000 line controller, but a 100 line controller is like 3 to 5 cents. You can use debug sessions. There are 3 to 5 exchanges. In this case, you can say it's 25 to 50 cents. And for a full code base review of a 10,000 line code base, that I'm pretty sure your code base is not 10,000 lines, it might be more. It's 40 cents in this case. Yeah, I'm not using the API. Again, I'm also using the plans because I don't see the point in this case for me. So again, I suggest that you try out with the Pro plan. I say $20 in here because it's VAT as well. So don't forget about that. Yeah, that's right. I think monthly is $20, and if you do it yearly, it's 17. But you're not going to do the yearly like we mentioned, right? So there is no reason for you to do the yearly plan. So what if you hit the limits? I did regularly, so I upgraded to the 101 max. It gives you 5 times the power, and if you upgrade to the $200 one, it gives you 20 times the power. And for API, the API one could actually be used for CI and automation. That's the only use case I see for myself, at least for now, and I really suggest that you also do that. And if the 100 or the 200 plans seem very expensive for you, think about that. If it actually saves you a couple of hours, in 1 month, it's already worth it, right? So it does pay for itself. If, for example, instead of, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. Okay, I continue. A bad example. But the idea is that if you had to do something and your hourly rate is like 50 to 100 and it saves you 2 hours, it already paid for itself. Think about it. So some more things that George added. We always need to make sure that we review the result because we don't, and actually when I run Cloud Code, most of the times I'm on top of it. I really need to check what it tries to add because I give it the power to add and edit files, but there are cases that I can see that it's going the wrong direction. I really need to stop it and try and iterate on the prompt. So ideally, AI and all the LLMs for us could be used for test scaffolding, routes, controllers, everything in here, everything that is boring, to be honest, everything that is repetitive. That's the idea behind it. So every repetitive task, I don't really see the point of doing it by hand anymore. So what should you review carefully yourself? So make sure that stuff, anything that has to do with pricing, with calculations, math calculations, everything that it has complex logic inside it, you need to make sure that you triple check that. Because if you don't and you just YOLO and push in production, I'm guaranteed it's going to break fairly soon. So authorization is an issue, authentication, validation rules, login register flows, everything that is very, very important for your app. You can delegate some of that to Claude, but make sure that you always review them. And don't trust any output, because obviously, if you were in the previous, or not the previous, in the previous meetup we had in Hack the Box, we had a talk about how to make sure that everything is secure. And AI prompts are also vulnerable to AI hacking attempts. So you need to make sure that you don't just copy and paste a prompt that you saw online somewhere. Make sure that you always review it first. So just like George says here, George writes, you used to be a coder, but nowadays you may need to become more of an orchestrator. And that's true, because you are the main person and you have your sub-agents running. And an architect and a code reviewer as well is what I really see ourselves becoming in the next couple of years. So keep the fun for you and delegate the boring and repetitive stuff to the AI. And yeah, I think that's all. Thank you. Any questions? Anyone? Oh, for me or George? Regardless. Any questions? Anyone? Yes.
Have you used Warp CLI?
You
can
The LLM, you mean the AI that Word provides? No, I haven't. I know it's one of the better ones. Especially if you use APIs, Cloud Code API or OpenAI API, etc. I think it's one of the better ones, yeah. Anybody else? Any questions? You can do it in English as well, and we can translate if you want. That's an issue. No? So, one more thing before we go and grab the pizzas. Our next meetup is going to be in Thessaloniki on February 19. Thursday, we have 2 talks there already. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Next year, it's going to be 3 events in Thessaloniki, 4 events in Athens. So we are expanding. We hope to see you there. If you're around, let us know. If you want to speak at any of our events, Athens or Thessaloniki, just let me or George know. And yeah, thank you again for coming. Anything else we'd like to add?
The second talk in Thessaloniki
Yes.
will be AI prompting security.
The second talk in Thessaloniki will be actually a follow-up of this one, and will show about AI prompting and security and how to make sure that your prompts are secure and not getting hacked. That's it? That's it. Thank you again. Thanks for coming. Okay, before you go, like we mentioned, we would like to do some giveaways, because it's not only that we built this thing, we also like to test it out. So we have some items to give away, if you can find them.
This is a custom hat from Athens hat. It's a Laravel one.
We have this one. We have 2 more things here. Yes, we have a book. I think they actually created this book, which is called Laravel for the rest of us. It's a book created by Pete Hislop. He actually is one of the co-organizers of Laravel meetup in London. And it's approved by Taylor. It was actually published like a month ago, maybe less. It's a pretty cool book, pretty cool animations inside, pretty cool images. I think you're going to love this one, because I don't think many Laravel books were published in the past 5 years or so. So you might need, so these 2, right? I think that's the 2 ones.
Those 2.
You remember the Wayne?
Win, Laravel.
Are you sure?
Win.
Ah, Wayne, I'm sorry. Yes. win.laravel.gr. So we would like to ask you all now, all the ones that would like to take part in the giveaway, to go to win.laravel.gr. Just add your name, your email, click on register, and you'll be all added in the wheel that we're gonna use just now. So I'm gonna win.laravel.gr. Yes. You won't receive an email? That's a lie from Claude, but yes, you can check that there. I can check this here, so I can see that you're actually in the wheel. I can see many of you already registered.
Did you sanitize the emails?
I see 18 people. Sorry, what?
Did you sanitize the emails or don't we just keep it registering?
I hope they're sanitized. I hope. Yeah, I can see 18 of you are already in. 24. I don't use echo. I'm sorry about that. 26. 27. I'm gonna wait for one more minute.
Go to slash wheel.
I have the wheel here. I'm just waiting for the. 30. Okay. I think I.
We see 60 users and
Yes.
200.
Cool. So I'm refreshing. Anyone that's trying now? No, right? Okay. So let's spin. The first one will be the book. Yes, Laravel for the rest of us. So let's spin the wheel. So Christos, who is the Christos? Christos? Congrats. That's for you. You will also be notified by email, or not. And now you're off the wheel, of course. So let's spin now for the hat. Let's see how it goes. Jason, who's Jason? Congrats, man. So, yes, we're done. Don't wait for it anymore. No.
have some pizza
Yes,
in a minute or two.
there's a pizza in the background actually already, so you can go ahead and serve yourselves. Thanks again for coming, and we'll see you in the next one.
Τα slides,